So, a lot of you have been asking questions regarding the process of rushing a fraternity. Well, I wanted to allocate this entire video to me explaining the process. Now, I want to make one thing very important. This is just for rushing, not pledging. The pledging process is entirely different and lasts way longer than the rush process. Each fraternity is very different, and so thus I cannot give you a great explanation on the pledging process of a fraternity, but I can give you a rush process. Let's get started. So, it starts off with a calendar. We've got Sunday through Friday. Friday is your bid day, but we're going to talk about that a little more at the end. Sunday is your intro. This is going to be about 12 o'clock, and this is where you're going to meet your entire rush group. I call them the group that you're going to be rushing with because you're divided by your last name. There's going to be roughly 20 to 21 groups depending on how big your rush class is, and that group is all dependent on your last name. So you might be, if your letter is a W, you might be in the very last group. If your group is an A, you'd be in the very beginning. Kind of pretty simple, and the very start, the very Sunday is going to be kind of the day to meet your group, meet your peer guys that are going to be walking you around to all the different houses and kind of better explaining everything to you. And then after that, you're going to get about like an hour break, and then this is where the fun starts. Depending on where you get assigned with your group, they're going to split it up into two different fraternity routes. You're going to be either going Comstock or you're going to either be going to Walnut. These are two different locations. So depending on which day that you get assigned and which location, you'll go to one first and then you'll go the other one the second. So that's Sunday. For me personally, it was Walnut. So Sunday I went to Walnut. Then on Monday I went to Comstock. This is roughly going to last about 3 to 4 hours because you're going to go to each fraternity house for about 20 minutes in that specific region. So for Walnut, you're going to go to each house in that region for about 20 minutes. If you're curious on where Walnut is, that's over by Bird Library, so to the north of campus. And if you go to Walnut, you're going to go to a lot of houses that are further north, like Pike and a lot of other houses that are that direction. If you're curious on where Comstock is, that's right to the east of campus, right next to Shaw Hall and in between Shaw and Ernie. If you get assigned to Comstock, then you're also going to visit a lot of off-campus houses that are behind Comstock and out that direction a little more. So that consists of Monday and Sunday, and then they're going to be after classes. So if you have classes Monday, I believe it starts at 5 o'clock. So from 5 to 8, you're just going to go and tour houses. And then on Sunday, it starts right after that noonish. They give you that hour break and you go from there. So Monday's the exact same thing as the second part of Tuesday, which is touring. These two interlap. Tuesday is where you're going to have the option to go to whatever house that you found most interesting. These are going to be the houses that you thought were pretty cool. You have 2 days to do it, each about 3 to 4 hours. And here, you're going to be able to go to any of the houses that you thought were cool. And you can divide it to as much time as you want. So for instance, if you had like 8 houses total that you thought were really cool, you could go to 4 and 4, you could go to 3 and 2, however many houses you want to go. If you wanted to put all your eggs in one basket and go to that house and spend all your time there, you definitely could. So you're going to have an option, and this could be, like I said, any amount. You're free roam, you're free range, you're not with your group anymore, you just have the ability to go wherever you'd like. If you're like us, we only had 1 day because the other day got rained out, so we only had 1 day to go to as many of the houses that we felt were interesting. Thursday is invite night. The fraternity decides if you can come back. This is kind of the next step in order to get a bid. So this day, you're going to go to the specific houses that the fraternity said they liked you. So after you went to all those different houses, the fraternity is going to take a vote and say, hey, we want this many guys back. We like this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and they make about 100 guys depending on how it goes. Then on invite night, you only have about 3 to 4 hours. So depending on what houses you got invited back to, you have to split that up even more into going back to an invite. That's pretty crazy because if you were like me and you got invited back to 4 houses and you don't know really which one was one for you, then it's kind of difficult because you have to kind of judge what houses you want to go to where. And this is really big because this is when the fraternities look to see how dedicated and how committed you are to their fraternity. So if you're there for like 45 minutes or 30 minutes and you didn't meet all the brothers, then it's kind of not very good, because then the brothers don't really know who you are, and when they vote, you're not going to get a vote. So this is the point where you want to talk to as many brothers as possible. You want to get your name out there, because what they do is they're going to take a picture with your name. So for instance, I would have a picture of me with Calvin, and then from there, at the end of invite night, they're all going to sit together, and they're going to be like, your name's going to come up on the board. They're going to be like, yeah, I talked to this guy. He's a great kid. I really enjoyed it. Really liked talking to him. Really enjoyed everything. Then the rest of the brothers that you didn't talk to are going to be like, I don't know this kid. I don't really know if I should vote for him. And you're not going to get a vote. So this is where you want to talk to as many brothers as possible in that house. So don't go talk to that one brother and think, oh man, I'm going to talk to this brother for 3.5 hours and I'm going to get in. No, you want to talk to as many brothers as possible. That it helps tremendously, okay? Do that. Talk to as many brothers. Don't talk to one brother. After that day, bid day. This is the day that the fraternity decides if they want you or they don't want you. This is really important because you might not get the bid that you want. I stress the importance of talking to as many brothers as possible so that you can get that bid on bid day. If you get 2 bids, then you can decide between one or the other. Just depends on what you feel most comfortable. And then you're going to report to specific rooms at specific times, and then you're going to go from there. After that, it all depends on the fraternity, and I can't help you a lot there. I didn't even go to my bid day meeting due to the fact that I had class, so it kind of makes it hard, and you're just going to have to talk to your fraternity and balance it out. Each fraternity has a representative that you'll want to talk to, and you'll go from there. So that really explains everything that I have for the entire process of bid day. I'm sorry this was very sloppy handwriting and everything. I just wanted to kind of explain it the best that I could. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'll be more than welcome to help, or happen to help. If you have any questions about doing anything, I'll do my best to answer them. One quick note I also want to throw out there. If you have the opportunity to go to pre-rush events, I highly recommend doing it. It's the opportunity for you to go out there and meet some brothers before the actual rushing begins, so you kind of have a familiar face. You can do this by, if there's kids in the fraternity in your class, go be friends with them. Like I said, we're all about making friends. A lot of places have open rush events. So for instance, Fiji had a Pong tournament that invited any eligible people that wanted to go and rush there to come and have a Pong tournament. It was kind of an opportunity for you to meet the brothers and for the brothers to kind of meet you while playing a game. It's really exciting and really fun, and a lot of fraternities do it. So if you get the opportunity to be invited to one, I highly recommend doing it. So hopefully that helps and that explains everything that you have questions regarding the bid rushing process. Sorry, once again, I can't really help with the pledging process as each one is very different. But once again, thank you, and I hope I helped.